Fine. You need a book? Baruch atah Eloheinu Eloheinu melech haolam.
Connect with Rabbi like on an official, like everyday basis.
He texted me right after the Shabbos.
Where? Really?
Always good to be home, right back into learning. The last thing, we're on page 45, in the middle of Ot Yutet, page 45 in Bnei Machshava Tova. The last thing we were discussing was the concept of proper self-evaluation and negative self-evaluation, the poison in the constant self-evaluation, but the way to do it properly, that there is a way to do it properly. So today, last week we discussed how it is important and essential to have some type of a framework of how you check in. How do you check in? And we've had different instances in our chabur of how do you check in to know where you're at, to see where you're holding. And one of the main things that we've been really, I think, plugging into the most the last few years was checking in through gratitude. And when you check in through gratitude throughout the day, it kind of doesn't just tell you where you are, but it always puts you where you want to be when you check in with gratitude. Like on the WhatsApp Chabura, every few hours, like sometimes it happens that like Hershey will just say gratitude, Dov will say gratitude. You don't even have to go into specifics. You just put that energy out there, and it does a lot. So today's learning is going to bring up a lot. And I know everyone's going to want to share a lot, but today I'm asking to hold back a little bit till we get through the piece, if that's okay. And there's a reason. I'm just going to ask one question at the beginning, and then we'll go into the text. And the question is, why are we even here? Like with this work of the Piaseczna, Bnei Machshava Tova, what are we even here for? What is this thing we've been trying to do with what's called Chizuk HaMachshava, strengthening our mind? What's the purpose of it? Yeah? Dvekut b'Hashem. Meaning that if I learn how to strengthen my mind, I'll be able to feel closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Okay? What else? Why else are we here? What have we been learning here? What are we doing here?
I think to create a vessel within ourselves to receive Hashem's light, and also to give Hashem's light to each other and to the world, and to be a vessel.
Amen. Amen. What else? Everyone falls into those two categories, right? You're just so petrified because I said don't talk a lot today. Right?
I think it's the sensitivity of the neshama, that it's the tools to be sensitive to your neshama.
To be sensitive to yourself. To be even in tune with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
conscious community.
Even though this book is about strengthening, it seems it's about strengthening your brain and your mind, but really, obviously, it's the work of the soul that can come and strengthen the mind. So with today is a very important learning, because today he's going to say how. He's going to say, why are you here, and how can you check to see if anything that you've been learning and working on as a chabura has gone anywhere, has it done anything? How do you know? And it's a very, very simple thing. It's a very simple act, and Bezrat Hashem, I hope and I pray, but I believe that everyone can find some place of saying, Ken, I'm here. Definitely. This works, or I'm with the program, whatever you want to call it. I'm with the program. I've enrolled, or it's enrolled me, whether I realize it or not. Okay. Page 45, in the middle of the page. Hanisayon pashut hu lanu. It's the nisayon, the test to see where you're at, pretty simple. Sheitbonen kol echad et atzmo. Contemplate. Go inside. Just think about yourself. Don't worry about what that guy is doing during davening or not doing during davening. Don't look at the other people's shalom bayis or that person's wealth or lack of. Go inside. Sheitbonen et atzmo. Veyomar, and say to yourself, Halo reshit tachliteinu sheitchalnu ba'avodat hamachshava, the beginning purpose, the initial purpose, with which we began this whole avodah, called avodat hamachshava, the work on our strengthening of the minds. He says a little bit of a different answer than what we said before. He says the purpose of even getting involved in what we've been doing in this learning, in this setting, but I believe this is really the framework for our chabura in general. He kedei shenuchal likfotz kfitza achat mima'al legufenu v'chushenu ulimshol alehem. Very important words. He says it was only if we're able to jump one jump above our bodies and our senses and to govern over them. So what did he say over here? It's not just how strong my thought could be. It's more of have I governed? Is there any area in my life, any area, no matter what it is, one area that I could say I've strengthened my mind so much to the extent that I'm less shackled to a certain type. That there's something that I have consciously chosen to say, Ani me'al ze, I'm above it. One thing. Is there one thing you could say? If there's one thing that you can say, then it means that's a siman that, okay, that's a proper self. Even if you see that there's nothing, that's also a proper self-evaluation. Remember, the evaluation is checking in to see where you are. Not, are you a tzaddik? It's just basically, Efo ani ba'olam. You know that beautiful cartoonist song? Hey Chanani ba'olam. Oh, you know that one? Hey Chanani, where am I in this world? Where am I in this world? The Piaseczna Rebbe says here, you want to know where you are in this world of the Piaseczna? Is there one area that you could say, Kafatznu kfitza achat mima'al? We jumped one level above our bodies, above our chushim, above our senses, and we've governed over it. We're governing over it. They're not in control. One thing is not in control of me anymore. Whatever that one thing is. Lachen. You know, it's very hard giving over the shir with the Mets jersey right in front of me. The tefillin makes up for it. Right. Maybe Dodger blue or something, but it's like, okay. I'm thinking like, what's governing over me right now? It's like, wow, since the 86 Mets, I have no nachas from the, Anyway, lachen, therefore, inasena et atzmi, I'm going to try myself, ve'er'eh im pa'ala avodati zu alay. Let me see, and let me have, this takes, wow, does this take guts? Let me really, mash, be full of guts and let me see if this work literally has had any effect on me. I'm learning this for 15 months. I'm learning this sefer Bnei Machshava Tova for 15 months. It's a thin sefer. We're going with it slowly. Hasn't done anything to me. I love the fact that I learn it, but in my life, has it really taken one area and said, Ani me'al ze. I am above this. This does not control me. This does not conquer me. Im be'emet moshel ani al atzmi ata yoter me'asher lifnim. Whether I really govern over myself more than what was before, than those outside things governing me. Im kenu, if yes, if you could see this in one area of your life, and you have to, when you say yes, it means it's not something you're struggling with anymore. Okay? It means ata gavarta al ze. You won. It's not a battle anymore. It's like the Alter Rebbe's explanation of a tzaddik in the beginning of Tanya. The tzaddik doesn't struggle with his Yetzer Hara anymore. The Benoni struggles with the Yetzer Hara and always wins. The tzaddik already conquered it.
He says that you govern over it.
Yeah, governing means you're not today yes, tomorrow no. It's a done deal.
It means it's no longer a struggle.
Yeah. Moshel. You govern over it. Im kenu, as avodati v'itlavuti she'avru alai, then the avoda and the hislavus, the enthusiasm, the passion, she'avru alai, that I just had in this experience, amitiyoten. Remember we were trying to define last week whether your spiritual experience is real, or if it's mamish your emet, if it's truth. So he says, if you have, with the avodat machshava, been able to govern over a certain area in your life, then that experience that you felt like you were flying, that means it was mamash emet. It was real. Ve'im lav, chas v'shalom ta'iti v'rimiti et atzmi. And if not, then God forbid, I lied and I've been cheating myself. Okay, so this needs a little bit of a bi'or. What is he basically saying over here? Does it mean that if someone keeps on failing and he feels a high during davening that it wasn't real? What is he saying? You tell me.
He's saying that there's two ways to look at any of the challenges we face. There's suppressing it and there's conquering it. And if it's only a suppression, it still exists as a reality in your life. You've just overcome it momentarily, as opposed to conquering it or getting to a point where you're governing over it, where you have no kesher to it whatsoever anymore.
So let's go back to my question. My question was, if you keep on failing in something, but you're struggling with it, and toch kedei, through one of the davenings or spiritual experience you have, you sense something very, very strong. Then you do this evaluation afterwards, and you see, I don't govern it. It's still governing me. Does that mean that what I experienced a few minutes ago in tefillah or a concert, whatever, wasn't real?
No, I think that it means that you're on the path of governing it, and that you have to hold on to the fact that at least one, you're conscious of it, and the consciousness is a big deal, and two, you're in the battle. You're
good.
Working.
So now, why does he say over here that if I haven't governed over myself, ta'iti v'rimiti et atzmi?
You're not done.
But those are no. That's a nice, beautiful, positive, like Colorado way of looking at life, but that's not. That's not what those words mean over here. Ta'iti verimiti et atzmi. You cheated yourself. That doesn't mean I'm not done. That means you cheated yourself.
You cheat yourself in that moment, or you cheat yourself by thinking that that's your MS.
I don't know. That's what we're here to. That's exactly what we're here to discuss. Eli.
I don't know. I think his expectation is at the beginning is much more modest. He says, "Im be'emet moshel ani al atzmi ata yoter me'asher lefnim." It's just, did I progress more now than I was before? If there's no progress whatsoever, then it's just a sham. But if I'm making even incremental progress, as you were saying, then I've got something. I shouldn't.
But there's a big problem with that chalukah, which you're right. Language-wise, it's true. But small progress versus governing something are two completely different worlds. I can have a little bit of, I don't know, a simcha or feeling real with small steps. Didn't seem like that's what he's saying over in this paragraph. Because here he's saying moshel. That's a different word.
Right. But I thought
Moshel means this is not something that I'm struggling. This is a battle that I've won.
Where that,
I'm coming
where
back.
the next time you're in that position, like, I'm not going to like examples or no? I have one quick example.
No, don't go into any examples.
I'll go one quick example.
No.
Okay. All right, but yeah, okay. I had an experience.
Govern it.
I had an experience where I felt
Govern it.
where I felt I did govern it. Okay, I had an experience where I felt I governed it.
Yeah.
But in the next chance I have back in that situation, I can't say for sure that I'm gonna have. It was a struggle to govern it. I got to the point where I governed it, but it was a struggle to get
We
it. The
talked
next
about
time
that
I'm
kila
back-
kachlotzarta, right?
You were made for this, yeah.
Kila kachlotzarta, that's what you were created for, to continuously have the same battle.
But that's not what the Rebbe seems to be saying.
Maybe he's saying don't be satisfied with incremental steps.
Right.
Like don't get so caught up in the fact that you made.
Right,
Right.
you're not done.
Like you still got to climb the mountain.
I felt
It's
good.
very nice you made.
I felt good,
parking
but
lot.
I'm not there because I still have that struggle inside. I felt good that I beat it, but I didn't really beat it because I'm still going to be struggling. But it's that feeling you constantly.
But that's okay. So that's not what he's saying here, because here he's using the words you cheated
right.
yourself.
So I
You
should have
cheated.
felt it.
Remiti, that's me. It should not make you feel good. I realized I cheated myself. Now that's at a certain place, the Rebbe says there is room in this self-evaluation, in this checking in, that shouldn't always make you feel good, even though you know where you are. Sometimes you can be so happy. Wow, I have the ability to know where I am. Where are you? Oh, I'm a total cheat, and I fail
Maybe what he
everything.
means by cheating himself is that, because cheating yourself means that you took something away from yourself, something, and maybe what he means is that you took the experience of the awakening of your neshama that was real, believe that it was real, understand that it was real, and you didn't actualize that enough that it caused you to govern over these things, and that was the part that cheated you. Not that your experience wasn't real, and not that your progress wasn't real, but that you cheated yourself by not really actualizing the fullness of that emet of your neshama that could have made you govern over it.
That seems true.
It seems true, and it still doesn't seem what he's saying over here. Meaning,
Really?
it seems,
I don't know. I'm with
it
Ellie.
seems, Chevron. And I said in the beginning, guys, listen. We have one problem when we learn this sefer. We're not letting the Rebbe teach us. We're going too much with how we think we understand this. Every time we come to something like this, we're always so hesitant to make sure that maybe he's giving us a little bit of heavy musar. It's okay. We can handle it. We're here to do this together. This is crazy. Mehmet. He's saying over here, I cheated and fooled myself. Don't try to beautify it. It's okay. It's like we're so nervous to let him rip us in the kishkas a little bit. It's fine. As he's going like this, he's also holding our head back and saying, I'm just doing this because I love you. It's fine. It's okay. This concept over here, where he's saying over here, Ve'im lav chas v'shalom. If he uses the words, God forbid, that I cheated myself, you have to keep it in context. Ve'im lav chas v'shalom ta'iti v'remiti et atzmi. That's not a good thing at all. It's not a positive experience. And it shouldn't make you feel good either if you've checked in and realized you're cheating yourself. Why are we trying to make this like a feel-good thing? If, God forbid, you checked in and you realized you cheated yourself and you fooled yourself, be a man. That's fine. But don't try to make excuses for it.
So how is Shimon wrong there? I thought that's...
I'm not saying anyone's wrong. Not Shimon, not Dov, not Eli, not Toby. I'm not saying anything's wrong. We're trying to we have to paint a picture here of how the Rebbe is saying proper self-evaluation. And sometimes, even though it's good, it could hurt. It's painful. It doesn't always feel, even though in the big picture it's wonderful to get checked in all the time, but you have to go through some painful emotions when you go through this. Quite often when we think we've grown, he's saying over here, it's not necessarily true, but you have to be able to look at the bigger picture, and the truth is, like everything, You have to keep on reading 2 more lines, and then it'll get a little bit, clear what he's trying to say. But as we're going through it, it's very important to remember that when the Rebbe says words like "V'im lav chas v'sholom," God forbid, ta'iti verimiti et atzmi, put that on the table. Yeah, David.
Is he trying to say that if you look at these moments where maybe you felt like you overcame it here and you overcame it there, that the cheat is that, don't look at that like that's the goal, like that's the accomplishment.
Like
you're
what
moving
Kobe
down
was
the
saying?
field and we're making first downs, it's all very nice, but if you don't put the ball into the end zone, it means nothing. Like all these little things
Okay,
are
that's
fine,
cool.
but don't...
What I like what you said, but that touches a nerve for many people. What nerve does that touch?
I made it.
No, why bother if you don't go the whole way,
Yeah.
right?
You're like the Hail Mary every time.
Or just, you
Right.
check in and you're like, wow, I thought I did really good this week. I didn't do that, but it's still a temptation for me and it's still a thing for me. So,
But
it was all, I was just cheating myself the whole week and I'm not there.
the cheat is that you could maybe get caught up into that cycle that, if I keep on doing this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I overcame it a little here, I did it here, I had these little successes, but the ultimate success, the ultimate goal is that when you get on this, you don't have to think about it and you act the way you're supposed to without even thinking about it. And the cheat is that if you stay in this mindset that, I'm going to conquer it here, I'm going to conquer it here, that is a distraction from the real thing that we're trying to get to. You can't really get to the real thing if you keep on just saying, I succeeded. They're nice. But at the end of the day, it's a cheat because it's a distraction from where the real hard work is to make the big jump.
Well, I'm pulling myself back from asking you to give me an example, or anyone, because this can get really tricky over here and very personal.
It just seems like to me, I've never met anybody, including myself, that has had an issue in their life that went from it being an issue to it being governed like that. It went to small success, overcoming the battle to eventually where you govern it. But I've never, anything where it was something that was governing over you, and then you woke up the next minute and you're like, nope, I govern over it now. I must be on the right path.
Me neither, but that's not what he's saying either.
I know.
How far can we take this?
1 second, I just want to respond. It's not what he's saying at all. What we see so far is he's saying, after you've done work for a long, long time, not tried one thing, after you've already put yourself serious nefesh through this avodas hakodesh of Bnei Machshava Tova, after a while. So because it always feels good to be part of something holy, labriot, part of something holy and special. So it's very easy to feel, I keep on showing up, so I'm probably part of the society of, what is conscious community, right? I'm a member of the society, right? Because I keep on he's saying over here, okay, listen, we know that it feels good. Obviously, and we know it's important, the baby steps. Obviously, if you're going to AA and you didn't drink for 2 days, they make you feel like you're a hero, right? Mm-hmm. For those 2 days. But where he's talking here, I don't know how you define that, like next step or whatever it is when you're done with the program or whatever it is. What he's saying over here, he's not saying, of course everyone has to go through the baby steps. That's absolutely it. But it's very, very, very easy to trick ourselves and think that we're somewhere where we're not. Simple.
That was the example I was going to use because you could put together 30 days or 60 days or 90 days and think, I got this licked.
You could put 2 years.
You could put 2 years in, but
That's
then
right.
something comes at you and it knocks you off. And that's the cheat, is that, you think that you got it licked, but you don't, because you didn't really mamash overcome.
Now, does that mean that the baby steps were cheating yourself? No. But what is cheating? So where is the cheat?
Every time that you said I'm sober, every time you hit your every milestone when you hit a month and you said that's it, I beat alcoholism and you threw yourself a party. Next year, the same thing, and the year after that. Each one of those was stealing from the time when you actually could be showed over it, and then you could have had that amazing, the real feeling, the real time you could have drawn out all of that passion, all of that excitement and accomplishment. And you stole that from yourself, bit by bit by bit, every time you celebrated prematurely.
Okay, so let's at the risk of like getting even a bit more personal. How about something that doesn't involve drugs and alcohol? Like another thing, another avoda, like something.
So we had an example.
Yeah, no. Oh, that. I thought you were going to talk about
He
something
said no
that
drugs and
happens.
alcohol, so
Yeah, that happens to me every second of the day.
That.
No drugs or alcohol. Put the phone
yeah.
Are we going examples or no?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, I had 3 minutes till a call yesterday, and I have an email that comes into my email every day at around 1 p.m. here. That it's my way to like catch up on the news. It's a great email. Okay, but I also have a new sefer in my house that I was really excited to go into yesterday. The translation of the Orach Chaim. And so I've said to myself, okay, every day I want to do one parish on the Aliyah of the day. Okay, and I hadn't had a chance to do it yet. So I had my email and I had my sefer both sitting in front of me. And I see ping, my email that I get excited about every day. It takes me 2 minutes to read exactly. Before I had that Orach Chaim, which was going to take me 2 minutes also. And I beat it. I beat it for that second.
Right.
I picked up the Orach Chaim and I read the email whenever.
Yeah.
But today, when faced with that same, I can't say I'm
Right.
gonna go reach for the sefer over the email. So if I had yesterday picked up the sefer, and I felt good about it, but I also realized I didn't own it, right? I guess that doesn't make me a cheat, maybe, because I didn't get to the point where I said, I beat this.
That would make you a cheat.
If I got up to the point I said,
Right,
but I did
right.
feel like for the day, I felt like, oh,
That's fine.
I beat this.
That's
but I
not-
didn't stand up and say,
You just have to allocate 2 minutes separately,
No.
and you're all right.
Reb Shlomo has a long Torah about this. He says that when you are able to say, okay, I'm going for the Orach Chaim versus that, so he says, maybe you didn't become a tzaddik in those moments, but those 3 minutes became special moments. They became minutes that are special now. And it's just great to have more minutes that are special into your bag than minutes that are just, not tameh, but just halal, just empty space. Let's continue inside, because he's going to give us a very important guideline over here right now. Aval gam az. Do you see where that is? Aval gam az. But even then, meaning even then when I realize, who am I kidding? Who am I kidding? I know I have to make sure to count the small points, but to think that I really have become a transformed human being, or this next page of, again, one step higher, he said, than the way that the rest of the world works in terms of them being governed by their bodies. And seeing that I'm not there. Aval gam az, al titrape mimelachtecha va'avodatcha avodat hakodesh zu. Al titrape means do not let go. Do not stop. Don't stop from your holy avodas hakodesh. Shuv itchazek, get strong again. V'shuv tatchil ba, start again anew. Hafoch ba va'afoch ba. You know where that term is from? Hafoch ba va'afoch ba dekula ba. The Torah, keep on going in and out of it, turn it upside down, inside out. Everything's in there. Umina lo tazia. Ki haim ya'azov hachole et trufotav im lo pa'ala barishona. Would a sick person stop taking medication if it didn't work the first time? Mitchazek ve'kofel meshane u'meshalesho. No, he takes it again, and sometimes he needs to take it more. But he's looking at this book as medicine. And it is. And he's saying it sometimes just doesn't work the first time. But we're so easy to say, it's probably not for me, so we stop using it. He's saying, don't go there. So the Yetzer has you right there, saying, you spent 15 months learning Bnei Machshava Tova. Can you really say that one thing that you've governed? Not that. That's not governing. Governing. Yeah, you sure?
Yeah, and so I want to take the Rebbe's words here and be very specific. He's not, it doesn't sound like he's talking about if all together you've totally governed. He uses the word Moshe, but he also says it's time to check in. do a test. Like, say to you, like just take your example. Like, say today, same thing's gonna happen. I'm at 1 o'clock thing, or I have something similar situation set up. Hey, listen, I'm gonna test myself and see how I do in this moment. He's using the word moshel on the one hand. On the other hand, he's talking about setting up a test and a check-in moment. So I think it's a little confusing, and it's taking us in two different directions. It seems like he's saying, yeah, this is a great check-in moment to see if you've made any advancements. Because Toby, if you had not, even at that one moment, and had you failed, then you wouldn't have advanced as far as you thought you had. But you did advance because you were able to overcome it at least one time. So I'm just trying to put it into perspective. Like, he is talking about...
Are you asking, is this evaluation about small advances, or is this about the next step?
Regardless,
this evaluation is about the next step. It's not about the
100%. But I could
dots.
have the results be either or, right? I could have, hey, listen, you did okay, but I'm not 100% that you're on fully in sturdy ground.
Then call it what it is.
Then call it what it
then
is.
That's fine. That's not cheating yourself.
Exactly. It's not cheating
not cheating yourself.
Right, but this kind of answers like what Shimon was saying before. Like, was there progress? Was there not progress?
Progress doesn't mean governing, but even progress, if that's what you're aware of, that's not cheating yourself.
Right.
I'm not there yet, but I made progress.
That's not. He's talking about cheating. He's saying confusing progress with governing.
It's interesting that he uses the word cheating yourself and not lying to yourself.
No, he does. He uses both. Ta'iti.
No, ta'iti means
I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. No, Shimon's right. It means it would have been shikarti et atzmi. Sorry, this might have stopped. I just want to make sure it doesn't. Oh, Hashem. There's a big difference there.
Right.
He's right. Shikarti that's been ta'iti and rimiti et atzmi.
He makes it very clear that the goal is to conquer, to govern over these things. And then he's saying, check in. If you haven't made any progress up to this stage, after you've checked in, then you're cheating yourself. That seems to me what he's saying here. Not that the little progress step is the goal. The goal is very clearly, you have to govern. But if you check in, and after all this time that you've gone through this, you haven't been able to say that you've made any progress?
Any progress in what area?
Moving towards the act of government.
No. It's good what you're saying, but you're missing one word. Any progress in the act of governing.
I agree.
Not towards governing. No, there's a big difference.
I'm not sure, because I think that he's saying here that if you're evaluating yourself and you're able to see that you've started to take control over your consciousness, elevating, sometimes it's just moments in the beginning, moments above your goof, above your body. So you're letting your neshama govern the way you think, the way you act, as opposed to the other way around, which is how most of us have gone through. I'll speak for myself, how I've gone through most of my life. Then you're moving towards the act of governing. You might still have work to do, but if you do this check-in and you can't find any place where you have those markers, you're cheating yourself. What are you doing? You're not actually in the sefer. You're not in this community. That's at least how I'm seeing from his words. I'm not trying to turn it to make myself feel good.
I'm wondering if we're saying this. Honestly, I'm just wondering if we're saying the same thing. No? Go for it.
No, I'm saying it's very clear to be successful in the Rebbe's teaching for Bnei Machshava Tova, you have to govern over your thoughts, your consciousness, to the point where the taivas, the physical taivas that we might struggle with or that are presented to us, they no longer control us. We control them. We govern them. But he's saying that if you go through and you do this test by checking in, and you're not able to, and you are able to find that compared to in the past, you have, even if it's just in certain moments, started to rise above these physical or bodily taivas, and your thoughts, our consciousness is governing over them. He said. Then he turns and he says, "But if Chas v'Shalom you do this check and you can't find those, that's you cheating yourself."
Mm-hmm. So we're definitely saying two different things. Because the way I'm learning it and the way I saw it is that it's not that. It's that Because what's the problem with someone that would hold like that?
I don't know that there is a problem. He's not saying that
I'm saying theoretically, what would be the problem of someone that would be holding that would be considered hatzlacha?
It's good enough.
It's not, it's not.
Right.
It's good enough.
No, it's not hatzlacha. There's two different things. Cheating yourself is a failure. If you're in the process of moving towards the governing, you're on the path. You might not be there yet. And he's not saying
and if
don't
you're
pat
not
yourself
there,
on the
right?
back.
And if you're not patting yourself on the back, then you haven't stolen anything. You haven't cheated. That's okay. That's okay.
If the awakening of your neshama is $1 million, right? Let's say the awakening of your neshama is $1 million, and I say, Dov, I'm going to give you this $1 million. Your neshama is awakening, and then like time goes by, and 3 months later, a whole book later, I come back. I'm like, Dov, what'd you do with your $1 million? You're like, I bought groceries and paid rent. I'm like, that's all you did. You totally cheated yourself. You could have done so much with that $1 million. You could have invested. You could have given stock. You could have done so much. And all you did was pay rent and buy groceries. You cheated yourself from the opportunity that I gave you. I gave you an opportunity, and you cheated yourself. You should have done so much more with that. And maybe the idea of cheating yourself, because I think that it is relevant that he doesn't say lie to yourself, which is, wow, look at me, I've done so good. When, well, maybe you didn't. Maybe you're not quite there.
You have to write. You should have put out a Rashi.
Yes.
on Bnei Machshava Tova. It's a Rashi. It's not the pshat of what he's saying.
Okay.
Is it nuts?
No.
But the idea.
No, because
is
I want to. I'm sorry, I have to interject because it's not what he's saying. He's saying, look at a taiva that you had. Is it beaten or not? It's where he's saying something very, very pashut. Look at one area in your life. Is it zeu? Is it mamash? Is it done? Is that one thing done?
I like.
Now that's beautiful to understand the difference between sheker and remiyah. Yeah, what am I saying?
No, it's just. I think a lot of us who grew up, who are Bali Tshuva, we had an affinity for bacon, and we loved bacon. I loved bacon, and years into my journey of being a Jew, I have no taiva for non-kosher food. That was one of the first things that I was dealing with when I decided to start this journey. Was I miss bacon? I miss all these foods. I have no interest. It could be in front of me. I could smell it. I have no interest in it anymore. Things like that, and it's like a low level.
You're saying to a taiva that you had, and you've made it treif.
It's become emotionally, mentally irrelevant.
So you've governed it. Is that what you're saying? You've governed it.
Yeah, but for it's easier for him to say that. For us FFBs, it's so much harder because we think we're frum.
Not all
we
things have been frum all the way through.
Those that have been through, we have this. We're frum. We have this. So it's mamash. It's so much easier for someone like that he's saying something, it sounds so simple, right? Yeah, but it is.
It is simple.
It is. It's simple, but not for the mind
Right.
that you see, for us, we grew up by saying, you can't go to the movies during Sfirat Omer. Okay, but why is it so cool to go to the movies when it's not Sfirat Omer? Meaning our understanding of halacha is so bizarre. We didn't. It's no one's fault. It's just saying that certain things are okay or not okay. No, bacon's not kosher. It's done. It's not a question
so
of.
If you haven't moved the battlefront, like Rav Dessler talks about,
right.
you haven't actually moved that line
right.
forward where that past line isn't there anymore, then you've cheated yourself.
You've got to take
if you told yourself that you moved the line, and really you're still involved in these little battles, then you cheat.
You still want bacon.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
if you still want, if he's going to be on a flight now, okay, and he forgot to order kosher food, and for a second it's even like a question, then he didn't. Then he didn't. But that's not even a mitzvah. It's not even choice. It's nothing.
So, but it was a process. So the first part, and this is just an example. The first part was. It was a struggle. I really like that. That's good. I can't, but I really want it. To a point of like, I could walk past it. It could be in front of me. I could be starving. It could be put in front of me, and I go, I'm not interested.
Has it switched to disgust yet? if you saw
It will never switch to disgust.
No?
I'm going to bring
It
up.
will only switch to disgust when it will only.
No, I think it's meritorious that it doesn't, because nobody wants to eat something that's disgusting. But there's a merit to say, that's good, and Hashem, I love you, and I don't want
There
it.
comes an
know if it's a
no, hold on,
merit that it's-
hold on. There's two ways through this, because this is forked.
To be repulsed on a spiritual level.
So there is a level of that, but it's not about me, because I know that I'm not interested in it. But other Jewish people who I see eat bacon, like, you know, I love my parents very much. My father loves bacon. I love him. He's an amazing person. When I see him eat bacon, it hurts.
Look, I'm gonna say something that's gonna be really hard for FFBs to handle, but like, he's talking about bacon, okay? What's our bacon that we haven't really governed yet?
Sex, drugs, alcohol.
Oh, you're going. I'm going. No.
That was 0 to 60.
What's
At least working hard.
at least still in the 60s, huh? No. What's our equivalent of, meaning not bacon? We haven't made it into bacon in our eyes yet, because to us sometimes it's bacon, sometimes it's just a kosher steak. What are one of those things that we haven't really defined yet as bacon?
Self-harm?
Could be.
Anger?
Could
I
be.
don't know if you
Could
sit
be.
in the phys-
What
you sit in
else?
the physical world, so I'm struggling.
What up, Lashon Hara? Lashon Hara? Talking ill about other Yidden? We haven't defined it as bacon yet.
It's bad, but not bacon.
Right. Right. It should.
We are remeeting ourselves if we allow ourselves to not define it as something which is completely not allowed.
Right. What about coming to Hashem's house and talking about a lot of things, but besides to Hashem? Is that bacon? Is that bacon? Is that bacon or not?
Is that during davening or just in between?
During davening.
During Kaddish, it's bacon. No,
During
we
davening.
still eat out there. It's fine.
But I'll tell you.
We have all those things.
Well, I'll tell you. With that like overcoming of just something as simple as bacon, as complex as it is emotionally. When it comes to things that I struggle with now, like Lashon Hara and work and the things that I think all Jews struggle with, when I hear people talking during davening, because I have overcome this simple thing of keeping kosher, it makes me so angry. It makes me so angry that people are doing it, because when I look at it, I say, you're supposed to be an example to me of how to be Jewish, of how to have a relationship with God, and you're the one who grew up religious all your life. You know more than I will ever know. You know more Tanakh than I will ever know. And you're the one talking right now during davening. You're destroying your relationship with Hashem. And that's the example I'm taking from you. And how are we supposed to get all 14 million Jews back to Israel when you're talking during davening and you're calling yourself from?
It's my brother over there.
Mic drop.
If it's okay, I'm just going to put your picture right here.
That just happened.
An angry...
It is, because it's like, I work in the Israel advocacy field. I see hundreds of students come from America and Canada who are Jewish, who are drawn to this place because of their love in Israel. And it's my job to take them around Israel and give them part of the Jewish identity. And because I struggled with it for so long, for my entire life, I'm able to understand their struggles, because I've been through it. I've been where they are. I've been through the partying struggles and the keeping kosher struggles and the keeping Shabbat and why do we keep Shabbat struggles, and having, very little support when it comes to keeping halacha. So I see that, and then we take them through all of Israel, and then I see the people who are my teachers, and they make mistakes, and they do things that they really, really shouldn't be doing. And I'm supposed to take these hundreds of students a year and look at these amazing people who are supposed to be living the Jewish national mission, and they're screwing up at every turn. And of course, that's why 14 million people, our brothers and sisters, aren't here, because I bring hundreds of Jewish students here a year, and we make so many mistakes that they see, and it's heartbreaking.
Working on it.
Huh?
He says if
No, but that's the problem. That's the problem. If you'd ask them, is this something you're trying to govern? I don't think they'd say yes.
Why? Why would
The
you
mistake.
say? The people are making mistakes.
Can you imagine if we walked
He
into?
was describing me in a lot of ways.
No, I don't
said
think.
I'm trying.
I know, but there's a difference over here between defining something as bacon and defining something as we still eat out dairy. Mamash.
There's a difference between like, and I
Mamash.
had the same discussion, and then said to me, "Well, at least they came to shul. At least they came. At least they showed up. Would it be better if they didn't show up? That's where you. That's
No, it's okay. It's okay that at least my guy showed up.
So that's the
But when
cheat
the
is-
people,
the
but when the
cheat, yeah.
people who
That's
should
the cheat
be
is-
showing up and only show up, that's a problem, and that's what I see constantly.
Yeah,
Well,
isn't that the
we're
cheat
getting a
though?
little too like them focused, and this is the all relevant. This
I
only,
know.
everything you're saying is only relevant because it's relevant for me, for you, and for everybody else like that. So like the question is, if we take it back to the like try to center it again, right? We're talking about like why is it for me okay to get angry in my house when that's avodah zarah? Like I'm not, I have no interest in bowing down to an idol. No, it's not a zero ta'ava to go into to find like a little Buddha with his legs crossed and bow down to it. Nothing in there. Yet I have no problem with getting angry at my kids or my wife or at something at work or at myself. Well, like why is that not? Why when that happens I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just bowed down to that Buddha. Like, why isn't it the same?
Do you say that to yourself?
No, but now I'm gonna maybe hopefully.
Speak Lashon Hara. I just killed that.
I think part of it is that some of that's very private.
Yeah, I just killed him. Exactly.
And now I'm standing on his
Some of
butt.
it's
I
private.
just spoke in shul. I just stole from the face of Mikdash.
Well, come on. You know, like
No,
I'm
excuse
sorry.
me?
No, I'm sorry
Excuse
because
me? Why?
I'll tell you why. Because that type of self-flagellation could be counterproductive to a certain extent. Okay, because then I'm going to become desensitized towards shechting Jews and stealing from the base of Mikdash. Like, there's a certain
Not if you're in the Sefer, because because then if you haven't elevated your consciousness and your sensitivity, then you are destroying
Forget
yourself.
stealing
That
from the face of
doesn't bother
Mikdash.
me.
What if Eitan
That's the
brings
whole
a student
point.
here?
That's
and there's
exactly
those,
the- that's
those
exactly the
students
truth.
are around us all the time. We are all those students, right? And you never know who's sitting next to you in shul. What if one of those kids is next to you in shul, and by you speaking, you've now contradicted everything he thought about people who live in Israel and who are working on themselves?
Okay, so that's his journey that he's on. If he looks at me like that, I will feel horrible. When Shlomo comes in and sees me and Jeremy talking, and he gives me a stern, I say, thank you, I have a Rabbi that will actually reprimand me. That's good, but you can't necessarily, maybe I'm off here, you can't own, like when Eitan was describing this, right? Like, I felt like he was describing me to a certain degree, but then Shlomo said, have they made it kosher? No, I haven't. I'm working really hard all the time on being the best Yid that I can be, living on the hilltop, and
Then you're not fooling yourself, though, Ari. That's okay. Meaning, it's not okay. It's you're not fooling yourself. That's the point here. There's a whole world of thought within, so to speak, halachically abiding Judaism about many things that are, so to speak, okay, because of the bigger picture, because at least they come to shul syndrome. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's cheating yourself. You're not describing someone that's cheating himself.
Well, also we have to balance it. Like let's go back to like our anchor for me, or at least my anchor is the Reb's definition of tshuva. Go back to Rosh Hashanah, like when we were learning, and he says you're just not yourself yet. So there's something that you can create a little separation between you and the sin. Like like when you have that moment where you say, oh my gosh, I take the example, like I got angry. And I did avodah zarah. I can't believe I did avodah zarah. Like you can be so upset. Then remember the Rabbi Rosh Hashanah where he says, "But that's not you." So then you turn it into a positive prayer and you say, "Hashem, give me the strength to treat this like avodah zarah, and to treat this with something so far distant."
We're scared to say those words.
We're really scared.
Can you imagine if we started to say, "Please let me treat certain things for what they really are"?
Yeah.
right.
Well, I think
Crazy.
a lot of us are afraid of
It'd be very, very
Toby's
difficult.
example about his friends in Shulchan Shabbat, or for that matter, for our spouses and stuff like that. Like,
Right.
God forbid, you don't create this
Uncomfortable, yeah.
uncomfortable. I'm here, you're there kind of thing,
Right.
which is really, really scary. I can say example. We went to friends for Shabbat a few months ago, and they were playing like some game which is like okay on Shabbat, but it's totally inappropriate and it wasn't good for my neshama. So I sat off to the side and I said, I'm not gonna do it. And then they tried to pull me in. I'm like, no, it's cool. I'm really fine. I'm totally okay. That was a test, but if they were just sitting around having a conversation and the same words and the same topic was used, I would be sitting there. So I almost shell, but the question is, do you treat those things as like such tuma for your nefesh and your neshama, or are you like, well, it kind of is, it's dairy out, it's not the worst thing.
Is the cheating yourself out of honesty? Is that the bottom line? I mean, this seems like the whole aspect of honesty, seeing things in an honest light, seeing yourself and seeing things. Is that where you're going to cheat yourself? Not being honest about things, about what you see and what you feel.
Where are you going? Where are you going with your question?
That's not a question. That's a statement.
Oh, you're saying?
Yeah. Is cheating yourself? Is it cheating yourself out of honesty? Don't cheat yourself out of being honest and looking at things honestly.
Don't try to make it anything it's
Call it
not.
like it is. Period. Don't cheat yourself.
That's true, because if you're not honest, you can't make progress.
Don't cheat yourself.
Right.
We're 45 pages in here, so we're way in the book. I mean, he's talking to us now, not like on you just got here. He's talking to us now like, okay,
you've been here.
Now, hopefully, you've been paying attention and you're aware. Now,
There's a state of awareness.
Like you're supposed to, like you are. They go back to whatever. You really wouldn't care whether it was this book or the email. But now, now we're supposed to be like actually paying attention.
Right, what he's saying
And now you've got challenges.
All right, so
now what do you do? What do you do with the awareness now? So don't cheat yourself. Now that you know,
be honest.
Don't cheat. Be honest with yourself, and you can be. I mean, maybe say you can be hard on yourself and call it what it is without taking a whip and saying, "Oh, it doesn't mean you're a bad person."
Right.
It means that you're in the game.
Perhaps he means that now, because you've been here for so long, your ratzon is so much more refined to be in a certain place. But you might confuse your ratzon with where you're really at.
That's good.
So he's saying over here, be honest, because it hurts.
It hurts sometimes when you have to look at something, and you look at it and you know that you're missing the mark. And then so the tendency sometimes is to be like, I don't even want to look at it.
Right.
I don't even want
It hurts
to
too
look at
much.
it. I think what he's saying maybe is, don't cheat yourself. You got to do the hard work. You got to look at it. But while you're looking at it, it doesn't mean that because you failed that Hashem loves you any less, or you should love yourself any less. That's the game.
So
don't cheat yourself out of playing
this is the
game.
question. Why is he talking about cheating yourself at this stage, and he's not talking about it in the beginning?
Because I said you wouldn't be able to handle it at the beginning.
Exactly.
But now,
Because here, the stakes are so much
I don't even
higher.
know what the concept of honesty is at the beginning.
Right.
I have no idea.
Right.
You
think you do, right? Right.
He's also warning us
Mamish.
here that if we're satisfied and we stop at the point where we've achieved a level of suppression, that is the most dangerous place you can be in, because all you're doing is you're holding it back. It's still right there. Your hand has to be on it. You haven't actually separated from it.
And that's not real life. Like
It's not
him,
real
can you imagine every time he went to you'd go to a restaurant and you'd be like, I conquered this, you see?
Right. You want to eat it, but you don't.
Look, I conquered
but you
that.
really want to eat it. So
That's the Beinoni in the Tanya. Levai, we should all be Beinonim, right, regarding all other things, but he's taking us to a higher level. Kenny.
Is it possible to look at Rabbi as deceived instead of cheated? Like self-deception.
I think, you know what, I hold on a second.
You're deceiving yourself.
It's the third paragraph in Hebrew.
Here we go, 1 second. Here he says, erred and fooling yourself. Okay, but that's whatever. That's his interpretation. Could it be? Yeah. Fool is more deceiving than cheating, I think. Right? Yeah. So, what's the nafkamina, Kenny? So, Lamaisa, what does that mean?
Cheating is you cheat in business, you cheat in a board game, you cheat, you teach your kids not to cheat.
Right.
There's a trying to theme
right.
between the two.
Right.
A deception is a little, I think the deception is more nuanced.
Really?
Are you deceiving?
You're making yourself
Deceiving yourself is I'm there. I'm there. Yalla, let's go to the next book.
Right, fooling yourself.
That's deceiving yourself.
No, they both seem pretty bad to me.
They are both bad.
No, they're both bad. They're not.
One over the other team. There's a difference between cheating and
Right.
Cheating seems like
What's
you
that?
get something.
Somebody who cheats knows they cheated. Somebody who deceives himself
Doesn't know.
Or that you don't.
Right. Right. He's not. He's living in a false awareness.
Like if you're on a diet.
Right. A guy that's cheating himself is not in a false awareness.
Yeah.
But you did get the cake.
Right.
With cheating, there's a goal.
Right.
And so I like the cheating because here he's saying that there is some great thing that's at the end of the road for you. Like there's a goal here.
You're depriving yourself of something.
Yeah.
That's a good
key,
word.
the key line for me is actually the first part, which is Shivonin kol echad et atzmo. I think it all stems from there. You gotta Yossi, you're going up against Yossi, and that like your biggest problem is Yossi, and so you're only cheating yourself. If you do start to play that game that this guy you could go head to head with on health, and this guy Shalom Bayis really isn't that good, so I really do feel pretty good about myself. And,
Right.
and
Right.
I'm strong.
Wait. So what's that? Is that self-deception or is that
Self-deception.
Both.
That's exactly right.
both? And cheating yourself?
It's cheating. It's foolishness. It's
all of it.
it's hurting yourself.
Same
You're just dead wrong. Unless you're dead wrong, if you're going to go ahead, and it's very easy to do, and that's why I think that's such a key part. When especially you're in a cover in a group, and you start to look at that and say, well, okay, I do feel better about it, or this guy eats out, so it can't really be that bad, but yet he's stronger on the other side, so like, you kind of play that game, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he does, or what his relationship is, or how much money. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is you. That's all you're going up against is you. And anything else outside of that, deception, lie, cheat.
So is it hard? It's almost impossible to self-deceive yourself when you're just going up against yourself, right?
That's correct. And when you do that, and you realize it's just me I'm competing against,
right.
Or it is.
I'd rather compete against these other
Right.
guys.
I'd rather.
I get to pick and choose what it is I'm up against.
Yeah, I'm against him.
Right.
With that
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. It's not consistent. It's
true.
You pick your
It makes it much easier.
I pick my benchmark. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
But I think you can do it within yourself too, between the Yetzirah and your true essence of your neshama, of what's real and what's like this isn't so bad. This is, but look how strong I am here. And you can get.
That's why this whole book maybe was a preparation of strengthening your mind enough to be able to go up against yourself.
Which, in the place that he was writing this, was the only thing that you could do. You couldn't go up against anybody else because you were stuck with survival. So that the idea of like advancing your life in a physical realm was totally off the table.
And today we're under the opposite illusion. Still, it's an illusion, but it's completely the opposite. Mamash. Okay, Chaver, we're going to stop here and we'll continue Thursday. Yeshar Koach.